welcome to Kitty Talk. We hope all of our viewers had a great family day with their families. I know we definitely did.
Yes.
So I'm going to get right into the hot topic for today because it is a very important one and it has to do with Motion 103. So for our viewers watching who don't have an idea of what that is or what it means for you, let me just give you an overview of what happened. So this motion was tabled by Liberal MP Iqra Khalid, and it simply outlined three basic things to Parliament, which was 1. Recognize the need to quell the rising public climate of hate and fear. 2. Condemn Islamophobia and forms of systematic racism and religious discrimination. 3. Request that the Standing Committee on Canadian Heritage undertake a study of these issues and propose solutions. Now, keep in mind, this is a motion, not a bill, which means that it won't be changing Canada's laws or limiting Canada's freedom of expression in any way. This, however, has caused a huge debate in Canada and in Parliament because people are starting to believe that this will somehow change the laws within Canada. So, ladies, I want to ask you, what were your initial thoughts when you heard about Motion 103 and what Iqra Khalid has been doing in government?
So, being a Muslim, I've grown up, I call myself an undercover Muslim because you can't really tell what I am because I don't wear the outward headscarf. You can't really tell. So I have faced Islamophobia, if you want to call it that. There's motions to say that to possibly change the name to a Muslim, Muslim, anti-Muslim hate bill or whatnot. I don't like to use the term Islamophobia, but considering what's going on with the shooting in Quebec, and the fact that Iqra Khalid is an elected official, so she's actually just doing her job passing the bill, because the bill is in response to a petition that was brought to her attention, showing statistics of the rise of Islamophobia over the last couple of years. So she's actually speaking on behalf of the public. I think that, it's not a threat to anybody, and before reacting the way a lot of people, I believe, have, maybe look at the details and the data and kind of see that, what is she trying to say? And is it going to be beneficial for all faiths and all people? I think united we stand. If this is happening tomorrow to Hindus or to Sikhs or to Christians or to Jews, I would be up there and absolutely supporting a bill similar to this if it was necessary.
I think on the contrary, I really feel that in a layman's term, I really think that what it's trying to say is you have free speech in Canada, and what this motion is going to do is really limit that free speech. Say you cannot utter anti-Islamic terms. And to me, from a point of view where I'm trying to break it down and say, I think it's going to really make the problem worse, because what you're trying to do is you're singling out a certain group, a Muslim group, and saying that you shouldn't be saying words of hate to a particular group. And to me, it doesn't make sense, because as Canadians, it should be as human beings, it should be in our own innate nature or our moral values that we do not say such terms, or we do not take action of such extremities towards anyone, another human being. It doesn't have to be anything to do with religion or faith. And everybody's free to kind of follow.
In a perfect world, that would be an ideal scenario, right? So,
and just to go about that, I don't think that this motion would mean that people don't have free speech anymore, and that is something that has caused a lot of confusion, because even the Conservatives expressed that in Parliament, saying that the critics of the motion point out that M103 asks the House to condemn Islamophobia and all forms of systematic racism and religious discrimination without defining what Islamophobia actually means. And the Conservative MPs are arguing that condemning Islamophobia without providing that context could stifle debate around issues like Sharia law and the niqab. But this isn't true. I mean, you can still have public discourse about what it means to how to be in Islam. That doesn't mean your free speech will be limited.
To be very honest, I think there is so many interpretations of how this could develop, and people could interpret it in different ways. So the intention of it may be in one direction, but there is so much to learn about Islam. The world needs to discover the purity of it.
And that's what the motion will do.
Do you really?
I do, because it can be
because it's not. It's really breeding on hate rather than saying.
That's because people jump to conclusions. Like, if you're going to protest something, think about what you're protesting. Ask the question and investigate what you're protesting before you jump the gun and start saying, well, we don't want Sharia, we don't want this, we don't want that. What what is Sharia? I'm a Muslim woman. I choose to live my life according to Sharia law. Just to give you an example, Sharia law allows divorce. Sharia law gives me all equal rights as a woman to property, to education, to own businesses, to not have to take my husband's last name. I'm not his property. I'm an individual. I'm an independent person. Now, just because of culture, if you see around the world, people are mistreating women, or male-dominated cultures are abusing or misinterpreting these laws, it doesn't change the fact that in my belief, in my life, I believe in God, and my God-given, I have the ability to read and write, and I can interpret for myself what I am allowed and what are my rights.
See, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know as a non-Muslim. Right. Sharia law, that's like a mystery.
It is the most.
So I want to learn, and that mindset
that's the
of
difference.
being open and being learning, like open to new cultures and being willing to learn, is not going to happen if you really give into this hate. What I really feel that what should be really fostered as Canadians is the fact that we're all in this country together. We come from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, we can do whatever we want.
Right.
We really don't want to give in to people who are haters, people who are doing
that's why it's
actions.
so important that this motion passes, because the motion means that a committee will actually be designated to better handle all the discrimination that's happening.
I think that's the discussion.
My problem is that when something like this happens, you have mouthpieces like Pamela Geller tweeting all over Sharia law. Justin Trudeau is trying to push Sharia law implemented all through Canada. Let me make one thing clear: if you are not a person who follows the Islamic faith, you don't have to worry about Sharia law. It does not affect your personal life in any way, shape, or form. It's more for me. If I choose to get remarried and I want to do it according to Islamic tradition, that's me being having the right to go and get married in that manner.
What you're saying, I think as a Muslim, you have, and as a Hindu or Sikh or Catholic or Christian,
you have the freedom to
Canadian
practice your faith.
We're talking about faith, but just on a high level, when we're talking about being a national, being a Canadian, all these things are your personal. Faith in general is your personal preference.
It's nobody's business.
There's nobody's business. And when it comes to really about this law, I think when we bring in politics and religion and all those things, I really think that the fact that really encouraging positivity and really encouraging the fact that we want this country to be a great nation based on the fact that people really care about each other, not just the fact that they're basing it on faith. It's about the fact that our values are the same, not just religion.
But that makes sense, but that's something the Conservatives said themselves. They wanted to reissue the motion saying that it should be for all forms of religion, and including Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sikhs, Hindus.
That's
but at the point right now, but I believe that right now we should be focusing on Islam, because those are the issues we're seeing right now. For Muslim hate crimes have increased double in the past 2 years. So we have to look at these things and think, as a country, how can we help them? Because right now, a minority in our country is being attacked.
So the people who are doing this, they're extremist groups that are doing this. We can only try to stop them. But if you tell someone you can't express yourself because you don't have that, it's legal, it's not allowed.
I'm all for freedom of speech, as long as your freedom of speech is not intentionally hurting somebody, is not intentionally disrupting somebody's freedom to believe and worship peacefully. I don't impose my beliefs on anyone. I'll post things politically. I'll talk about my political beliefs, but I'm not going to tell you what to believe. And I don't think that it's anybody's concern how I practice my faith.
As you guys can see, this is a heated debate. So we're going to throw this back to our viewers. What do you think about Motion 103? Let us know via Twitter. We would like to hear from you. And don't go anywhere, because we have a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about the art of staging on a budget. We're also going to be talking about why we should celebrate Indo-Canadian women. But coming up next, we talk to interfaith relationships.